Hi there and welcome. And now we will begin creating the behaviors by which our simulation will operate. So first, within this space, you are able to click Add Node in order to bring in a state machine. You're able to move about this space by holding down with your middle mouse wheel to drag and move around. You can also zoom in or out of the state machine graph at any time to make it easier for you to see what it is you're working with. So I'm just going to quickly add 6 nodes into this space. I'm just going to lay them out like this. In our first node, we are going to select it, and you can see which node is selected based off of the kind of white border that appears around a selected node. You can also see it over here where it says state 0. And the first thing that we're going to do is create a display message function. So in order to do that, you're going to hit this drop down here and navigate to display message, and they're going to hit create. Now if you've done this correctly in your state 0 section, you will see display message will be added to the list of attributes here. And this little bar over here will be on the left-hand side of display message. If you hit create, and it does create it, but it's on the right-hand side, it means that you are creating operations within the exit conditions of a state. We want to make sure that we're in the enter section. So just make sure you're in this area by making sure that is the highlighted section. Okay, next, for this display message, we are going to want to type in our message, which is a welcome message to the player. Okay. So with this text, I'm just saying, welcome to a simulation. You will be presented with a conversation among your colleagues. Walk in closer to listen and observe carefully and respond. So with that, I have my message displayed, and if I want to, I can make it so that this shows up as text, is only spoken, or spoken and displayed to the user, which is the option I'm going to go with. I'm then going to give it the voice of Kendra, and I'm going to create 2 more functions so that the virtual people are looking at each other. So I'm just going to quickly create 2 of these. So the first one is a virtual person, and I'm going to select colleague 2, who will be looking at not the player, but another virtual person. And I want him looking at the other person, HR1, and I'm going to just make sure that that is selected. Now here, we're going to do the inverse and make sure that HR1 is looking at the virtual person of colleague 2, and that is also selected as true. And with that, we have completed our setup for state 0. Next, in state 1, we are going to, in the enter actions, create a speak action. So we're going to hit this drop down again and look for the speak action. Now here, we're going to type in a phrase of what it is we want the character to say. So in this case, we're going to have it say, well, I think you are discriminating based on my background. You then need to select the virtual person who is saying this, which in this case will be HR1. Going to be using the voice Justin. And I don't particularly care which of the talking animation he's doing, but I do care that he's going to wait until he's finished speaking. To preview this statement, you can hit this icon here, which will play the audio back to you of what you have typed.
Well, I think you're discriminating based on my background.
Okay. Next, we want to create another speak action, where the response is the following. I most certainly am not. I was merely being honest with my opinion. That report was subpar, and you know it. Okay, so this one we're going to have be colleague 2. The voice is going to be Joey in this case. And again, we're going to wait until it's finished speaking before it moves forward. And you can preview it again by hitting this button here.
I most certainly am not. I was merely being honest with my opinion. That report was subpar and you know it.
Okay? Now here, we are going to create a timer, which we are going to give a name of resolution timer. And hit this plus button here. We're going to leave it as increment. That's all we're going to do with that one there. After doing that, we are going to display a message to the user, which in this case will be, you have walked in on this difficult conversation. How would you respond? Display and spoken, Kendra. If you want to, you can make all of these just displayed only or spoken only, whatever else, but I'm just going to be consistent by making it so that the voice of the system is constantly speaking to the user here. Okay, and you can see here all of the actions we have added are being populated here. Now we're going to do one more thing. We're going to create 2 exit actions. Okay, so here where it says state 1, you're going to click exit. And when that happens, we're going to look for these look-at functions, and we're going to just create 2. We're going to have both colleagues, or both VPs, both the colleague and HR1, begin looking at the player when we exit the state. The way that looks is down here. You can see that the look-at function is being created, and based on the bars on the side, you can tell that is an exit action rather than an entry one. Next, we are going to move on to state 2. So in state 2, we are just going to have another speak action. Where we have one of our VPs say, your business. None of your business, pal. And continuing with that character, that would be our colleague, who has the voice set of Joey. Random is fine, and just wait until it's finished speaking. Then have a display message. Display and spoken, Kendra. How would you respond to Adam? I may have forgotten to mention this earlier, but if you click on your virtual people or virtual objects, you can give them a name which will be used when they're speaking based on the display. So here I'm just going to rename colleague 2 to Adam and rename HR1 to James. So now when they are speaking, we'll say that James is speaking or Adam is speaking. Okay. Now we're going to move on to state 3, in which we will have a speak action. Why is everyone so nosy around here? Why don't we take a hike? And again, we're going to go with colleague 2 with the voice of Joey. Random, and just wait until finished speaking, and one more display message. Display and spoken, voice of Kendra. How would you respond? Oh. Now, something I just realized, I was in my exit state actions when I did these, so none of these are good. I'm going to quickly go to entry and repeat these. So that was to speak actions. Followed by a display message action. Joey, don't wait. How would you respond to Adam, I believe? Display and spoken. Kendra. Right? And here. And then I display message, display and spoken, Kendra. All right. Then in state 4, in the entry actions, we are going to have our other VP respond. So look for the speak action, where he will say, actually, I think you should stay. I would like a third party to be present. So that would be HR1, I believe, with the voice of Justin. Do not wait, or do wait, followed by another display message, where what is your response? Display and spoken, Kendra. And now in the exit actions, this is where we are going to end our timer. So you're going to scroll down to find end timer, create, and find the timer that we had before. In this case, resolution timer. If you have multiple, select the one that you have there. So you can see here we have 2 VP speaks, display message, and an end timer. Now in the last one, we're going to make sure we are in our entry action state, and we are going to display or enable feedback. And that completes the state actions between these.